instead of pointing fingers, because it's always an external factor that plays a factor in why we might have not accomplished what we set out to accomplish. And so I use my example of football, right? I was like, man, you know what I'm saying? I didn't make it to the NFL. And so I said I could have pointed, I could point and blame a lot of stuff. I could say, man, maybe if this coach would have spoke up, or maybe if that coach would have spoke up, or maybe if I was tall enough, well, maybe if I was bigger, maybe if I was faster, or maybe when I had my workout with the Jets, maybe if they would have called me when my hamstring wasn't pulled, or maybe, my luggage, if my luggage would have made it with my cleats when I got to New York, then I would have had my gloves, I would have had my cleats, and my hamstring would have been healed. I would have performed better. I could point at all them different things and say why I didn't make it to the league. And I would have a right to be honest, I'm not lying that all these things took place. However, I still got to be accountable for me. I still got to be accountable for what I did and what I didn't do. Man. What up, everybody, man? It's your boy, JK. Today is Thursday, so you already know what it is. It's Tackle Thursday. And today, I'm tackling, we tackling, you tackling, we tackling the topic, proud to be accountable, right? Proud to be accountable. And where this topic come from, I was blessed with the opportunity last week, man. So if you in the local Middle Tennessee area, man, I'm going on, I set up my own tour, speaking tour, called the WIN Tour, W-I-N, right, WIN Tour. And I'm going to local high schools in the Middle Tennessee area, high school football teams, and I'm talking to them, whether it's the day of the game, day before the game, or sometime during the weekend. So I just went to Siegel High School, and, I like when coaches, I like to have my own themes or own topics, but when coaches do provide topics and themes to talk about, it makes it a little bit more simpler, right? Having a context and different things. So my boy Nick Mobley, man, he invited me out to the school, and he let me know. It was like, look, man, the theme is I'm proud, proud to be a Siegel Star. That's their name, Siegel Stars. So every week that they have a speaker, they change the last word. So so this week it was accountable. So proud to be accountable, right? And so I really talked to him about accountability, and basically I'm taking what I talked about to them, but I'm taking it and I'm doing an episode on it, right? Proud to be accountable, which at the end of the day, we all have a responsibility of being accountable, right? Accountability is something that as adults, as kids, as parents, as teammates, as people in general, that we got to be accountable, right? And so being accountable, right, is the willingness or the want to, right, to take responsibility for something, right, or for somebody's actions, or for your own actions, or be accountable to something, to hold yourself accountable to something or to someone, right? And so the first thing that, if we're going to talk about being accountable, right, before we can be accountable for something, before we can be accountable to somebody or to somebody else, it first got to start with us, right? It first got to start with us, that we first got to be accountable for ourselves, right? We got to be accountable for who we are, like where we sit at in life, wherever that is. If you on your dream job or if you not, if you doing exactly what you want to do right now in life, or if you not, we all got to hold ourselves accountable. We got to take accountability for who we are and for where we are. The good things about us, the flaws, our great decisions, our not so great decisions. We got to be accountable for ourselves. And so when I'm talking about that, right, when I was talking to the high school, I shared my story on, me not making it to the NFL. And I was using it, when I was talking to them, I was just like, a lot of times high schoolers, or just kids in general, or just us in general as humans, we like to point the finger, right? If somebody say, man, why you ain't make it to the NBA? Man, my coach, it was my coach's fault. Or in school, right? kids go home and their parents go to the game and after the game they say, hey man, why you didn't play? And the first thing that a lot of players do is say, man, it's my coach's fault. Like my coach didn't want me to play, right? Or even in the midst of a game, a coach call a player to the sideline and they're asking the player like, what's going on? And the player, instead of being accountable for their own actions, they'll blame somebody else or they'll blame the referee. And so many times in life, that's how we do, even in our own lives, is that when something ain't going right or where we sit at in life, I promise you that we could find somebody or something to blame on why we not where we want to be in life, or why we don't have as much money as we want to, or why we ain't on a dream job like we want to, or why something didn't go right. We could always point fingers, right? But instead of pointing fingers, because it's always an external factor that plays a factor in why we might have not accomplished what we set out to accomplish. And so I use my example of football, right? I was like, man, you know what I'm saying? I didn't make it to the NFL. And so I said I could have pointed, I could point and blame a lot of stuff. I could say, man, maybe if this coach would have spoke up, or maybe if that coach would have spoke up, or maybe if I was tall enough, well, maybe if I was bigger, maybe if I was faster, or maybe when I had my workout with the Jets, maybe if they would have called me when my hamstring wasn't pulled, or maybe, my luggage, if my luggage would have made it with my cleats when I got to New York, then I would have had my gloves, I would have had my cleats, and my hamstring would have been healed, I would have performed better. I could point at all them different things and say why I didn't make it to the league. And I would have a right to be honest, I'm not lying that all these things took place. However, I still got to be accountable for me. I still got to be accountable for what I did and what I didn't do. And so when I look back, I'm like, okay, all those things happened. But what is it that I could have done that could have maybe propelled or put myself in a position to maybe make it to the league? And when I think about it, I think about the time that I let the fear of failure stop me from going to work out with Patrick Peterson and his dad. Like, I think about dang, if I just would have took advantage of that opportunity, maybe I still would have never made it to the league. But I would like to think that if I would have did that and got that training, network, and got in that circle early enough, because I end up doing it. I end up conquering that and coming back and training with them and being better and being the best that I could be. But I did it at a later date. And I'm like, man, if I would have did this in in college, even in high school, what type of player I could have been, right? But I got to take responsibility for that. And so that's what I was telling the team. I'm like, yo, y'all got to take accountability for you first. You, who I'm talking to, who listening, who gonna watch this on live replay, watch this on my YouTube, who watching it now, I'm talking to you. You gotta take accountability for what it is that you didn't do or you did do that contributed to where you may be at in life, right? And so once we take full accountability and responsibility for where we are in life, you feel me? Now we gotta, and we be accountable for ourselves, because it starts with us. We then gotta be accountable to our goals, right? Because we set goals, we say, hey, I want to do this. I want to accomplish this. I want to accomplish this by this time frame, right? And so we all got goals. We all got goals, right? So we got to be accountable to those goals. I ain't even going to lie to you. I'm tired right now. You feel me? Like, my throat, I talk all day, right? That's my profession. I teach all day long. You feel me? But I love my job. I enjoy my job. But I teach all day long. So my throat is it's drained right now. You feel me? And so I'm tired. I'm fatigued. My throat drained. All of that. But I gotta be accountable to Taco Thursday. I gotta be accountable to the goals that I set that I want to accomplish through this podcast and with this podcast. So though I'm like, man, you know what, man, I don't even feel it. I ain't even feeling it tonight. I had to think okay, Jeremy, you said you want to accomplish this. Well, if you choose not to do it tonight solely just because you don't feel like it, you're not being accountable to that goal. You feel me? Now, don't get me wrong. We all need rest. And there are times where I do take rest. I do take necessary rest breaks or time off. But just because I don't feel like it, that's not going to cut it. That's not me being accountable to that goal. And so like you, right? You all got goals. So you got to ask yourself, man, am I being accountable to my goals? Am I doing the things that I need to do to align myself and put myself in the position to get in that goal? Maybe it's a house. Are you saving? Are you taking care of debt? Are you taking care of the necessary things? Are you getting your credit aligned? Are you being accountable to that goal of wanting to get the house? Right? So are we being accountable? We got to be real. Like, am I being accountable to my goals? And so, like I said, I had to get on here tonight, because getting on here tonight is me being accountable to the goals that I have set as it pertains to being a speaker, as it pertains to my podcast, as it pertains to just the whole Jeremy Kellem brand, We Impact Now, Tackle Thursday, the whole nine. This is me being accountable to that, right? And so then not only that do we got to be accountable for ourselves, and then we got to be accountable to our goals, but we all got a vision of who we want to become and who we want to evolve into down the road. We all got a vision of ourselves. And so just like we got to be accountable to our goals, we got to be accountable to who we said we want to become in the future. If you like, yo, I want to be a millionaire, or yo, I want to own this company, or yo, I want to be this principal, or I want to be this producer, or whatever it is, whatever we say we want to become in life, we got to then be accountable to who we said we want to become. Like, I didn't tell you that you wanted to become that. You didn't tell me that I wanted to become what I wanted to become. But I have to be accountable to who I said I wanted to become. And sometimes we forget, like, life be happening and adversity hits us and we get tired and we just sometimes just start going through life nonchalantly, and we kind of forget who we said we wanted to become in life, right? And so at the end of the day, in those moments, we got to recall and be like, yo, I said I wanted to be that. Same thing like being a father. There are times, right, like when you want to put yourself first, but you got to understand, like, yo, I said I wanted to be the best husband that I can be. I said I wanted to be the best father I can be. So I got to be accountable to who I said I was going to be and who I said I wanted to be. So though when sometimes I want to be lazy and I just, I want to chill and be to myself, I got to understand, yo, I got to be accountable to my wife. I got to be accountable to my kids. I got to be accountable to the father I said I wanted to be and be accountable to the husband I said I wanted to be. So you got to be accountable to who you said that you want to be, right? And so as I'm talking to this football team, obviously a football team, you got teammates, right? And so even though a football team or an athletic team they have teammates, right? And it's a team sport. Football is a team sport. I feel you, Nene, right? I feel you. We all do. Hey, we definitely all do. Appreciate you getting on too. Right? So we got teammates, right? And so I told the players, I said, you got to be accountable to your teammate, right? So no, we might not play sports. We might not be on an athletic team, but if you work on a job, you got teammates on that job. So for me being a teacher, right, I got to be accountable to other teachers. Other teachers are dependent on me. Other teachers are dependent on me to hold my kids accountable to do the right thing. So when they go to another teacher's class, it's not like they got to reteach some new standards or reteach new expectations, because I'm holding up the expectation. So when they go from class to class, they're holding up the expectation and we are working together. But if I allow my scholars to do whatever it is they want to do in class, and I don't hold them accountable, then I'm not being accountable to my teammate or my fellow teacher. right? So those that when you work, you got coworkers. That's your teammate. You got to be accountable to your teammate. If you got a boss, you got to be accountable to your boss, your CEO. If you are the CEO, you got to be accountable to your business. That you got to make sure that you're doing what it is that you need to do, because other people are dependent on you. Your coworkers are dependent on you to do what it is you've been assigned to do, so they can then do what they need to do. Right? So when you are not being accountable to those you work with, those that may actually be on your team, to your employees, you are selling them short, because they're dependent on you. You dependent on them. So you got to be accountable to your teammate. So remember, we started out saying, hey, we got to be accountable for ourselves. Then we got to be accountable to our goals. Then we got to be accountable to who we said we want to be and become in life. And then then it gets outside of us. And now we got to be accountable to the people around us. And then not only do we got to be accountable to our teammates or to the people we work with or to the people that we're surrounded by, we got to be accountable for our teammates, for the people that we work with, for the people that we're surrounded by, right? Meaning sometimes we go through life and we just like, man, look, as long as I got mine, like they can do whatever they want to do over there, right? And when you look at it like on a team, an athletic team, you can't do that. Because, especially in a team sport, because if you let the O-line, if the offensive guard jumps offside, the whole team is penalized. So you can't just say, as long as I do my job, forget them. No, you got to be accountable for your teammates. Same thing as a coworker. Like yes, we as a teacher, yeah, we got autonomy, right? I can't tell another teacher how to teach their class or whatever it is, right? But what I have to understand is that I try to be there for other teachers. If they need me to cover a class, or if they need me to, like one teacher needed a teacher manual. And I thought about how she has helped me so much. And I was like, man, there's no way that I can not help her with this. Even though I really need this book, I got to give her this book. She deserves this book. She has helped me. So I got to be accountable to her. I got to be accountable for her. I got to be able to help her out because she's helped me out. Right? So we got to understand that we got to be accountable to our teammates, to the people that we work with, and to the people that's on our team, but we also got to be accountable for them. Right? And so that's what I really talked about from an athletic standpoint, but I know it applies in our lives because accountability is serious. Like, even as adults, there are people that don't take accountability for where they are in life. They literally still blame their parents for where they are right now. And so if you're an adult now and you still blaming your parents for where it is that you are in life, or what you don't have, or the money you don't have, or whatever the case may be, then that's a sign of, hey, you still haven't taken accountability for who you are and where you are. Like, granted, don't get me wrong, right? I think I can speak for all us, like in my age bracket. Like, yes, we could have learned a lot more about financial literacy from the school, from our parents, from just any and everywhere we went. But we can't really blame our parents because it wasn't taught to them. So if it wasn't taught to them as much, they taught us what they knew, right? Just like we know more now, so guess what? We're going to teach our kids more. Just like our parents taught us more than their parents. Our grandparents taught them. So at the end of the day, though we can blame a lot of people and a lot of things on why we didn't accomplish this goal. Why didn't I, why didn't I get that scholarship? Why am I not making that money for myself? Why didn't I make it to the NFL? Like, we can do a lot of finger pointing, but eventually we're going to have to take accountability for who we are, where we are, the decisions we made in life, and move forward. right? Move forward. As we move forward, then we got to set new goals, and we got to be accountable to those goals. And then we got to identify who and what we want to become in life. Then we got to be accountable to who it is that we said we want to be and become. So if you say you want to be a great father, you got to be accountable to that every day. Not saying you're going to be perfect. I'm not perfect as a father. Every single day I don't do the right thing. But I have to constantly remind myself, I said that I wanted to be a good father. And if I said I wanted to be a good father, then I got to be accountable to that every single day. I got to strive to be the best father that it is that I can be, right? And that's whatever role, as a husband, women that's listening, as wives, as moms, right? So then once you're accountable to who it is you say you want to be and become, then you got to think about the world, the people around you, the people that's dependent on you, and you're dependent on you. You got to be accountable to those people that are your teammates or people you work with, and then you got to be accountable for them. You got to encourage them, help them get to becoming and being who they said they wanted to be and become. All right. So with that, man, I definitely want to transition to the Kellem portion of the segment. So if you have first time being on Tackle Thursday, if it's your first time being on Tackle Thursday, man, the Kellem portion of the segment, all it is, man, you can ask me any question you want. So right now we're talking about proud to be accountable, just the importance of being accountable. But feel free to ask me any question that you want. I give it by open, leave it open for a minute, as far as like allow people to type what they need to type, share what they want to share. You can talk about what it is you feeling from this particular message, or any questions that y'all might have for me. Questions about football, who I think gonna win the Super Bowl, fantasy, man, parenthood, life in general. Whatever it is, man, just feel free to go ahead and drop in the chat a question. Man, I appreciate y'all getting on, you know what I'm saying, stopping on the chat for me, man. I mean, on the podcast, this episode. So I appreciate it. Like I say, man, I'll leave it open. See if somebody got a question or comment. Man, please feel free to share. Like I say, it could be about whatever you choose to share or talk about, or ask me any questions. I'm good with that, man. So I give it about 30 more seconds. I want to respect y'all time. I don't want to hold you if I ain't got to hold you. All right, so anybody got any comments, questions for me? As waiting to see if anybody type any questions or comments in here, man. Man, your boy want to know in that fantasy league, though. So if you just hopping on, hey, be sure, if we in the Kellem portion of the segment, be sure to drop any question y'all got for me. Talking about accountability and, just being accountable in general. And so feel free to ask any questions, drop it in the chat. Man, you're not limited to any type of question. So, hey, feel free, if it's about my football career, anything, this is what Kellem portion is made for. So like I was saying, man, I want to know in that fantasy league, got that dub. Man, I really enjoy my fantasy league though, man, because it's this opportunity. Hey, what's up, Kimberly? How you doing? The family's doing good. I appreciate you asking. My wife is doing good. My son, daughter. My son actually coming up on his birthday next month, a little less than a month. He'll be 4, which will be crazy. Time go by so fast. So he's definitely going. He turns 4, so he's definitely excited about it. My little niece just turned 5, and so they're literally 13 months apart. So we call her, well, they called us, but we let them FaceTime for her birthday. And he's like, man, when is my birthday coming up and stuff. So family doing good. Family is doing good. I appreciate you asking. I hope and pray all your family is doing well as well, man. What's up, Corrales, bro? Bro, what's up with you, man? How you doing, man? Hope all is well, bro. Appreciate you hopping on. Just, what I'm saying, allowing people, if they got any questions or comments. What up with you, bro? Just tell them Kellem portion. Probably got like 30 more seconds unless somebody asks a question or something, man. But definitely, I appreciate you hopping on, man. I hope all is well. And you know, like I was saying, just talking about, you know, fantasy, man, it's I really enjoy it, man. I've been doing my fantasy league for having my own like about 6 years, and so man, we really me and my boys, my homeboys, friends, you know, I think everybody in there in the chat it's like 2 people that's not former teammates that's in the fantasy league. But it's crazy though, man. It's a great bonding, man. So if anybody, you know, never played fantasy, I encourage you to play it, man, because it's a great bonding, you know, mechanism, a great bonding thing, man, with your friends. A lot of trash talking, a lot of it, man. So all my MT fans out there, Malcolm Bayard won my league last year. Me and him played in the championship. I was going for a 3-peat. And then he knocked me off in the championship. So Malcolm Bayard, Big Play Bayard, is the defending champion. So I'm trying to, you know, get my title back, man. I'm going for my 3rd championship in the league. So, but yeah, so fantasy been good, and yeah, man. Just anybody else got any questions, comments, and I let y'all go. To be honest. Alright, I think everybody might be good. Alright, cool, man. So, hey, just to wrap it up, it's another episode of Taco Thursday with JK, the podcast, man. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe on my YouTube page, Jeremy Kellem. Man, check out, I dropped the speaking engagement that I had, the first stop of the wind tour, when I went and spoke to Siegel High School. So man, y'all go on my YouTube page after I get off and go check that out. Please subscribe, and also share the page out to some of your friends, man. I feel like I got some dope, some good content, quality content, some impactful content. You know, so feel free to go ahead and share and subscribe and share that, man. Today, man, we talked about being accountable, man. 1, we got to be accountable for ourselves. 2, we got to be accountable to our goals. 3, we got to be accountable to who it is we said we want to be and become in the future. 4, we got to be accountable to those that are around us. They might be on our team, co-workers, our family members. And then 5, we got to be accountable for our team or for our family members, holding them accountable, encouraging them to be and become the best that they possibly could be. All right, so with that being said, man, y'all have a blessed day. Y'all can continue to be intentional about winning and have a blessed day. All right, I'm going to holler at y'all.